Hey guys, it's Sandro here, and today's video is a much requested review of the new ShineMate EB210 mini polisher. Now, as many of you may know, I have had a sample of the EB210 in the shop over the last 6 months and have had the chance to test it out and put it to work on many cars and jobs throughout this year. So I think I'm at a stage now where I can share some good hands-on information and experience with it. I'm also happy to report that after so many delays, this new final production version you're looking at is at long last here in Australia, together with a few added goodies the pre-production version didn't have. There's a bit to go through here. I really hope you guys enjoyed this review, and let's get to it. To start with, let's quickly go through what the new EB210 actually is and where and how it's typically used. Basically, this is a mini hybrid cordless car machine polisher used to remove defects and restore gloss like any car polisher on the market. Now, the mini part refers to its compact size and utilization of smaller machine pads, typically to correct the finer or more intricate areas of car panels and trims, where a more standard, larger polisher is simply too big to fit in or correct the paint safely and effectively. The hybrid part refers to its adaptability to use multiple machine pad sizes and switch from a single rotary mode to a dual action motion with interchangeable running heads. And being cordless, it conveniently runs on rechargeable and switchable lithium batteries. So let's have a look at what comes in the kit, which I have to say is quite a lot. Everything comes in a robust hard plastic carry case with 3 inner foam compartments, so it's easy to keep everything together and securely transport or move it around. There's 3 separate sets of instructions for the battery and charger, all the interchangeable heads available, and the polisher guide itself, which are all very clear, well illustrated, and definitely worth having a read through. You've got the EB210 skin itself, which weighs 625 grams, and it's 231 mils long by 50 millimeters wide and 61 millimeters tall. There's 2 10.8 volt by 2.5 amp lithium batteries and a dual battery charger. You get 3 different machine heads in this kit, including a dual action 12mm orbit that runs at 3000 to 8000 OPM, a high torque rotary head that runs from 700 to 1800 RPM, and a high speed rotary head that runs 3000 to 8000 RPM. There's 8 different backing plates ranging from 3, 2, 1 and even half-inch sizes that also range from screw-ins to twist and locks depending on the head and attachments you want to go with, to extension bars 80mm and 40mm for both the 1 and 2-inch pads, a set of 3 spanners to torque down each setup, and a whopping 25 separate machine pads from wool to microfiber, various foam grades, and conical polishing cones, all to get you started quite nicely. I'll also put a spec sheet up here if you want to pause and have a better look at it. Now I'm just going to quickly run through the setup, operation and features. To get going with the EB210, you'll start by slapping in a battery, and to remove it you just squeeze the tabs and pull it out. You'll then select one of the heads, line up the protruding shaft with the center hole in the machine, rotate it till the tabs line up and fall inside, and then do a final clockwise twist till you feel and hear the lock mechanism snap in place. To remove the head, you simply push both locking tabs, twist counterclockwise and pull the head out. To fire up the machine, you'll firstly hold the power button for a couple of seconds. You'll see a green display light up and stay on, and you can set the speed from 1 to 6 by pressing the plus minus buttons, turn the LED light on at the head of the polisher, and it's just one quick press again of the power button to turn the whole unit off. It also has an auto power down feature after 5 minutes to prevent the battery from draining if you forget to turn it off. And the far left green LED also turns from green to yellow and then red to let you know when the battery is full, half or low in its power stages. Now to fire up the polisher, there's 2 different ways you can go. Firstly is pressing the trigger button for about half a second and holding it down. And once you let it go, it'll stop. The half-second delay is also great in my opinion, as it prevents the polisher from firing up accidentally if you bump it. The second way to turn the machine on is to double press the trigger, and it will continue to spin until you press the trigger once more to stop it. Typically this is how I mostly use it, but it's nice to have both options. Battery life and charging is always an important question when it comes to cordless machines. What I can say with this polisher and every cordless polisher is that it comes down to speed, load and pressure. Using the EB210 on slow speeds with smaller pads and lighter pressure can see the battery last well beyond an hour of actual running time. While if I crank it up all the way, use larger pads and press down with excessive force, I can probably drain the battery within 5 to 10 minutes. I guess typically it's going to be somewhere in the middle, maybe 30 to 40 minutes of running time, and with charging I've found it to be about 45 to 60 minutes in total. In real world use, you're never going to be polishing for 40 minutes straight. There'll always be pauses. And so far, I've never once been short of battery life with the EB210 with just 2 batteries. But I guess if you're worried, you could just get a 3rd battery. Lastly here, I absolutely love the fact that we get a dual battery charger that will in fact simultaneously charge 2 batteries at once. With all that out of the way, let's get down to business and dive into the EB210 from a user experience point of view. Firstly, although certainly not a heavy or large machine, it does have a nice amount of heft to it. It feels rock solid and secure in the hands with a rubberized grip and can certainly be used both single-handedly as well as with both hands. Everywhere you look around the housing, there's loads of intake and outlet vents sucking and expelling air, cycling it all around the unit, which seems to do a fantastic job at keeping the motor as cool as possible. Smoothness, quietness, and low vibration are always desirable characteristics of any polisher. Now on low to mid machine speeds, the EB is very smooth, quiet, and civilized, actually very nice to use for extended periods. But it's only fair to mention that when you do jump up to the top end of its speed, it flips a bit of a beast mode switch, almost like a supercharger winding up, and does have a bit more vibration and noise. I guess that creates a good segue to discuss the torque, speed, and overall power of the EB210. Now, without sounding too dramatic, the power of this little mini or really micro-sized polisher is just totally insane. Whether it's being used in rotary or DA mode and with larger or smaller plates and pads, it's near impossible to stall, even if you press down with all your force. It's really mind-blowing how such a small machine can possess such immense power and torque. To put it into perspective, it's easily got more power than most larger dedicated 3-inch polishers and will even give some full-size machines a run for their money. Just give it a go and you'll immediately understand. Now, power and torque isn't everything, so let's dive a little more into the switchable heads, backing plates, and potential setups. Now in the kit we get 3 different quick head changes, but there is 6 available in total. So 3 different DA heads from 3 to 5 and 12mm throws that can be used for spot sanding, light polishing and heavy correction depending on your needs and wants. Options are always nice to have, and OEM options are typically the best rather than having to modify or deal with aftermarket parts. Likewise, there's also 3 rotary heads available from high speed low torque to lower speed and higher torque, as well as a dedicated rotary head for the extension bars and other smaller screw-in attachments. In addition, you can also choose to use the twist and lock backing plate attachments if you want to quickly and constantly change backing plates and sizes, or you can remove it for a fixed screw and torque down thread option. It's really up to you how you wish to set up and use any of the heads. One of my most loved setups at the moment is the 1/2" pads on the extension bars with the high-speed rotary head, but I've also been using the 12mm DA head with 2" pads a lot. It's just really nice, has loads of power and fits my needs super well. Honestly, I've never seen a mini polisher system that provides so many options, and having the chance to cycle through them, I can also attest to them working extremely well in harmony with each other. Together with the launch of the EB210, ShineMate has also put out all new 3, 2, 1 and 1/2" pads that are without a doubt the best ShineMate have ever produced. I'll be honest that I never overly liked their older macro pads, but these new ones run smoother, last longer and do perform worlds better than their previous ones. But the biggest plus of these new pads is price. Now, I really love the Lake Country and Root Bear's 1 and 2" pads, but at 12 to 20 Aussie dollars each, they're just insanely expensive for such tiny pads that never really last all that long. These new mini ShineMate pads range from 3 to 5 Aussie dollars each, basically being about a quarter of the price, and I can now also say that they're pretty close quality and performance wise to those far more expensive pads. Now I guess cons should be part of this review, but honestly guys, I'm struggling to find them. I do think the case could have been a little bigger with nicer foam cutouts to feel and place all the parts cleaner and just more nicely laid out and organised. Also, I haven't seen the extra head attachments or even larger battery options here in Australia, so I don't know if or when they'll be available. But maybe that's just being greedy as you already get so much in the kit. Beyond that, I just really appreciate how much thought and engineering has gone into this little machine. Features like having 6 unique rotary and dual action heads that run with diverse speed, torque and movement capabilities to address different sanding, polishing and compounding applications, the super handy extension bars, the auto shutoff to prevent battery drain, the half-second trigger delay to prevent accidental firing mishaps, the wide band 6-step low to super high speed range, the 2 different ways you can trigger and run the polisher, and the first, I believe, dual simultaneous battery charger in this segment. The amount of work that's not only been undertaken and pursued, but also incredibly well executed just has to be appreciated here. Simply put, it's a powerhouse little beast, yet smooth and civilized, with more tech and options packed into it than anything else out there. The last point I'll make here is that I've owned many ShineMate polishers over the last decade, even before ShineMate was really known in the car detailing space. And I can say wholeheartedly that they have been the most reliable brand of machines I've ever used and abused. They are just well built, put together and made to last. If for some strange reason it's not clear, let me state the obvious. I'm such a huge fan of this new EB210. I will even go as far as to say it's up there with the greatest machine polishers ever produced. ShineMate is just taking it to another level here. It's simply the new gold standard in this segment, and the bar has most definitely been raised. I think I'll leave it there, guys, and if you enjoyed this video and would like to say thanks and help support future content, you can do so by buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/ccad, in which I'll leave a link to in the description box, or you can now hit the thanks button below the video, and thank you everyone for the support so far. As always, I really hope you guys enjoyed and found this video helpful. Please share it with others, give it a like and comment below to show your support for this content, and I'll see you guys soon.